guys, I am back with another video. You feel me? I don't think y'all feel me with this one. Like, I truly don't think you do, because this video is going to be totally different than what you have ever seen on my YouTube channel, my social media, my everything. So first of all, I would like to say happy Sickle Cell Awareness Month, because this month I will be sharing my story finally. I just feel like it's a part of my healing journey that I, accept myself in my entirety, including what I have. So I've been diagnosed with sickle cell since birth, and I think it's time I tell my story to you guys and to inspire others to tell their story, because I feel like everybody needs to hear every perspective of everybody's life. I think it's a great opportunity. And so basically every Sunday I will be doing a video on my story, just things that I had to deal with growing up. Hopefully I have one of my parents and ask them questions. I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to plan that out. And also just telling you what it is. And also I will be doing a fundraiser this month, so stay tuned for the details on that. So let's just get into it. Okay, so I have my iPad just to keep me, focused and organized, because there is a lot to talk about when it comes to what sickle cell is. What sickle cell is. So I'm just going to get into the first aspect of the general definition of what sickle cell is. So I wish I had my glasses. We're about to get a little scientific here, so bear with me. All right. So basically, this is what your cells look like. Normal cells, voluptuous, round, juicy, full of oxygen, right? And this is what some of my cells look like. So that is why it's called sickle cell, because it's in a sickle shape, crescent, just abnormally shaped. And because of that, that means their hemoglobin is actually different as well. So in normal cell, you have good hemoglobin that can actually pick up oxygen from your lungs and bring it to different organs of your body that need it. But in sickle cell, it might have reduced levels of oxygen or can't pick up oxygen at all, and it goes through your body not being able to give the organs what it needs. And this cell also has a very high tendency to get clumped together because of its abnormal shape, and because it gets clumped together, when it goes through your blood vessels, sometimes it can get stuck. That is why it's called a sickle cell crisis, because the lack of circulation to that body part can actually cause large amounts of pain and other issues. Okay, so 1 in 365 African Americans actually are born with sickle cell. And it's very highly populated in African American populations, because let me take you back, what I'm saying. If you ever remember Darwin, how he studied animals and how good genes would be passed on, how animals evolved to survive in the environment that they're in. So I'm about to pull something up real quick, but back in sub-Saharan Africa and ancestors around that region, there was a high number of cases of malaria, and sickle cell actually grew from that, because those with sickle cell actually had a 29% reduction in malaria instances. So it actually fought against malaria, and you had a lower chance of dying from malaria. There was also the trait that actually had a small percentage to do with helping prevent malaria as well, but that's why it stuck around in that region, and it produces children with sickle cell to this day.
To this day! To this day! To this day!
So I had to take you back a little bit, but that's why sickle cell is actually in the world today, because of malaria. Ready to fight? Okay, so I kind of talked a bit about genetics and that thing, so I want to clarify that. So basically I'm the only person in my family that has sickle cell. So my mom actually had the trait, my dad had the trait as well, and then so they had a 25% chance of having a child with sickle cell. So I'm the 25%. But my sister, she doesn't have sickle cell, and you're wondering, like, why? Well, there's also a 25% chance that that child will not have sickle cell at all. So I have sickle cell, my sister does not have sickle cell, but there was also a 50% chance that a child could also have the sickle cell trait, and my older sister has sickle cell trait. So, yeah, that's how genetics works. So if I were to have a child, if I were to date someone that had full-blown sickle cell, all my children would have sickle cell. If I dated someone with the sickle cell trait, it would be 50%. I'm trying to do the Punnett square, if y'all know what the Punnett square is. So basically it would be 50% sickle cell and 50% sickle cell trait. And then if I were to marry someone who doesn't have anything at all my children would just have the sickle cell trait. And if you have the sickle cell trait, you have no symptoms whatsoever. You're basically, not to say normal, but you just don't have any issues that come along with sickle cell. If you trying to date me, I low-key gotta get you blood tested, bro, because, you know, I got other things to worry about, you feel me? Now I'm going to get into some of the symptoms that people with sickle cell experience. I can't really say that I've experienced anything. I feel like I've always just had normal pain. I used to dance a lot. Sometimes my joints would be achy, but I can't say for sure that's because of sickle cell. So I've gone throughout my life not really experienced anything but fevers and infections and stuff like that, but I've never experienced pain. But for number one, we're anemic. You know, we don't like the cold. We don't like pools. We just don't like the cold. And that's because our cells die faster than normal cells, so we have a lower blood count than normal. I'm trying not to say normal, but other people. There's also just like just pain in the joints, because those blood vessels are a little bit smaller. They're more prone to be, you know, pain there because our cells, you know, clot together. There's also delayed growth in puberty, because our organs and our bones and everything's not getting as much oxygen. It just takes slower for us to grow. I remember I was like 4'10", and until like, I would have to say junior year of high school. Senior year is when I started to grow a little bit. Freshman year I definitely grew, and then I kind of like stunted after that at 5'3", but yeah, I remember getting like a bone scan of my hand, and I was like maybe 16, and they told me I had bones of a 9-year-old. You know what I'm saying? So everything's just like slower and stuff. There's also a lot of vision problems, so we also have blood vessels in the eye, so sometimes we have issues around the retina, certain nerves around the retina that need, you know, oxygen to function. So sometimes we'll have eye problems. I don't really have any eye problems. I know I wear glasses, but they definitely check my retinas and stuff, and they just keep watch of that, and it's been fine. But I know a lot of people who have, you know, other serious eye problems. Okay, so some other more serious symptoms I would say is stroke, you know, blood to the brain, anything clotting wise that's not giving oxygen to something, it's going to get damaged. So I know there was a higher percentage in the younger portion of sickle cell patients, but once you grow out of that, you're not in that, you know, red zone. So I've never had a stroke, but I've seen sickle cell patients have strokes. The other thing is, I had to look this up because I forget what it was called, but it's called splenic sequestration. So basically, because our cells die so fast, our spleen actually collects all those cells, and sometimes it just gets backed up. It can get infected, it can get enlarged. So a lot of younger sickle cell patients will actually have their spleens removed. Thankfully, I did not have to get that. I still have my spleen, but again, that's another red zone. When you're younger in sickle cell, there's a lot of red zones where things can happen, but once you grow out of it, there's not a likely chance that stuff like that will happen. So yeah, another serious one, there's a lot of serious ones, but I'm gonna just say one more, is definitely hypertension. We have just higher blood pressures in general, and sometimes that can cause complications during pregnancy, I know. But I haven't been in a discussion with my doctor about pregnancy, what goes on with sickle cell patients with pregnancy. I would love to bring that up because I want to see, what I would have to be doing. I have heard that, sickle cell patients usually, other sickle cell patients usually get like blood transfusions every once in a while. I think sometimes once a week, twice a week. I'm not exactly sure because every sickle cell patient is different, but I've never had a blood transfusion for sickle cell. I have had one blood transfusion, but I'm gonna talk to y'all on another day about that. But so basically during pregnancy, I know that you can get blood transfusions just to make sure that your baby is getting enough oxygen and developing well. But I'm not sure for me, since I've never had any issues, if it might be different. I might have to ask my doctor about that. Wow. Like, telling y'all about this is like making me have questions for myself. This is definitely a learning journey, you feel me? Okay, so I know for sickle cell patients, for their treatments is usually, a blood transfusion maybe once a week, twice, or every 2 weeks or something. There's also a medication called hydroxyurea, which a lot of sickle cell patients take. I took it starting at the age of 12 because it was new. It low-key felt like, I was part of a study, science experiment, whatever. But I've taken that, but yeah, I don't take it anymore, not right now, because to be honest, I just feel so, I've never told anybody this, but I just feel so like normal almost. I try not to say normal, but I just feel like nothing's really wrong with me. I've never had a crisis, I've never had any of that stuff, but I know for the long term they do want me on it, so I'm thinking about going back on it. But it was just like, I just felt like, I didn't really deserve to take it because I didn't have any of the issues that come along with it. So, but I know for the long term it would probably help me. So I'm going to talk to my doctor about that too. Another treatment was folic acid and penicillin. I used to take both of those when I was younger. Folic acid just helped to increase new blood formation, new red blood cell formation, and penicillin was almost just like a prevention purposes for infections, blood infections and stuff like that. Usually you get off that around like, I'm not even sure, I forget when I got off. I was probably like 10, 9 or 10, maybe 11. But yeah, once you get older you don't really need it per se, because children are more high risk for things like that. So I stopped taking those. So yeah, so obviously other treatments for when patients are in a pain crisis is opioids. And the thing about this is, a lot of doctors used to think that we were drug fiends, that we were crackheads, that we just wanted drugs, when actually we were in a serious amount of pain. A lot of doctors would think, oh,
they're not in that much pain, we don't need to give you anything.
when you seriously do. I know when I was younger, my doctor told me this story of this guy who didn't know he was diagnosed with sickle cell pain, and he would go to the doctors and they wouldn't give him anything. In actuality, he had sickle cell and he was in serious pain almost every day of his life. So it's very important as a person with sickle cell, to have a good doctor who you can trust and confide in, and to know that they trust you as well, because when you're in a lot of pain, you need pain medication to calm that down. So yeah, if you're trying to become a doctor out here, don't ever underestimate how someone is reacting to something. If they say they're in a lot of pain, they're in a lot of pain. Okay, so definitely that is one of the biggest myths in the sickle cell community, that we just want drugs when really we're just in a lot of pain. So yeah, so I think I covered everything about sickle cell. Not everything. If you want to learn more, go to Google, go to PubMed, go to whatever scientific publication you want to use, but make sure you get to learn what it is and what it's about. If you have any questions for me, definitely DM me on Instagram, and also put questions down in the comments. I don't mind answering them for the public to see. But yeah, so let's get into the fundraisers. So basically every year I've donated money to Children's Hospital Philadelphia Sickle Cell Center. Last year I think I raised about 1,400 something, around that range, but I'm trying to get to 2K finally, so please help me get there. If you just want to spare $1, $2, anything will count. And if you can't donate any money, definitely donate blood this month. A lot of sickle cell patients get blood transfusions on the regular, so you know, keep that blood bank full. And also I will be posting on Instagram a lot just to remind y'all. So if you see me posting a lot this month about sickle cell, just know I'm trying to do my thing out here. So definitely share that with your friends, family, and help me raise money to 2K, because that's my real goal that I haven't met yet. That's the end of the video. I hope you put on the notification bell like I said, subscribe, because this month I will be telling my personal experience, my personal stories, and how I grew from dealing with sickle cell my whole life. So stay tuned for that. But make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because you know sharing is caring, you feel me? And also comment if you like my new hair. I dyed it blonde. If you see me on Instagram and you saw my new hair and you show love, thank you so much. But yeah, peace.
She can do it all, a real life.